Okay, testing. We are back in it to win it. Okay. Elon Musk, he actually becomes the world's first trillionaire now that SpaceX has finally IPO'd. What does that mean? It means at some point that you kind of can't go no higher than this. I think like what, Kajillion is after or something like that. You can't go no higher than this. So at this point, money starts becoming worthless. Basically, money starts becoming worthless after you hit this type of amount. I think he went up to 1.1, we would say. I think he went up to 1.1 trillion. And they said possibly by the end of the year it'd be 1.3 trillion. Like, it's actually crazy. It's actually real. It's insane. Because they say, the distance between 1 million and 1 billion is insane. Think about the distance between 1 billion and 1 trillion, or the distance between 1 billion and 1 trillion is crazy insane. Its numbers will never meet whatsoever. And, I think he kind of did this for personal reasons, not even for like, hey, let me allot the money for this to be the richest person. A lot of it because his beef with Sam Altman. Because his beef with Sam Altman, they were actually racing to be the first trillionaire. So he finally got his little ego and pride thing out the way and became the first billionaire and the first trillionaire. And now he can say, "Hi, in your face, I did it," because they have an extreme beef. But due to he had an IPO announcement, talking about SpaceX, saying, "Hey, we're Star Trek. We're finally going to be interplanetary and all of that." And actually, we're going to play that right now.
They were simply not pursuing the technology that's necessary to make life multiplanetary, to make Star Trek, to make the exciting
we're here
futures that we've read about real. And that's what SpaceX is all about. It's to take the fiction out of science fiction and create an exciting, inspiring future for everyone. We want to be able to take anyone who wants to go to the moon, anyone who wants to go to Mars, or anywhere in the solar system, and maybe beyond the solar system. We want to be able to take you there. Not just a few astronauts. I mean, literally you. If you watch, whoever you are watching this, SpaceX wants to be able to take you to the moon, take you to Mars, and ultimately beyond.
All right, so check it. So after, put on my thinking cap for y'all. Okay, so in order for us to become a successful interplanetary species, we have to do something like we have to become type civilizations. So they have type 1, type 2, type 3 civilizations. So when we become a type 1, that means we harness the power of the planet. We, like, as you see, Bitcoin was a great tester for that. When they were harvesting the power of a volcano to actually mine Bitcoin and some type of value. And we use solar, wind, water. We're using the Earth's resources to generate some type of power. Then you go to type 2 civilization, where you actually harness the power of the sun. So you're harnessing the power of the sun and other planets to gain energy. And then type 3 is, using this whole solar system, galaxy, whatever, to generate power. So, you're going to get some type of people, they're going to be in the comments, "You didn't say it right, whatever." But basically, the gist of it is to harness, the natural resources and powers to become a self-sustaining type of civilization. So I say that to say this is, as you see that they're, building the robots and trying to perfect everything on Earth, the first thing that they're going to send out 9 times out of 10 is they're going to send out the AI robots. And they're going to send out the AI robots to build on the planet, because some of these planets, Moon, Mars, and everything, they do have harsh conditions. And they have harsh conditions that we can't just survive in and work 24/7 and build. So 9 times out of 10, they're going to use that. So that's what Trump has been. I say Trump. So that's what Elon has been doing with SpaceX. Is they're actually building the infrastructure here on Earth so they can take it to other planets, just like the Boring Company. And people were like, "Oh, well, it's called Boring Company because the name is actually pretty funny and pretty ingenious, because when you're doing tunnels, it's called boring. So you're boring tunnels. So that's why it's called the Boring Company. And that's just one big snake that it can just do tunnels. It's actually easier for humans to live under the surface than it is to live on top of the surface. So we talking about sending those on reusable rockets, sending that with the Optimus robots to actually go work in autonomous vehicles that are actually controlled by AI. As you see what's happening. You see the ecosystem that's happening here, to where you send those on the planet to build. That's why they're trying to make sure they perfect what the hand does and the strength and the dexterity, because it still takes a certain type of dexterity to build these things. So he's building that automation so they can actually, build as much civilization as possible. We'll build as much infrastructure as possible before you start sending people over. And they need the money to do it. So they basically used SpaceX with the IPO, basically drained almost everybody's bank account to make him a trillionaire, which is insane, which is almost 2% of the stock market. I would say, I might be wrong, I might be 20%. It's a crazy percentage because if the stock market is about almost $40 trillion, and now that makes them yeah, they're about, I don't know, it's a heavy, matter of fact, we might as well go look. What percentage of the stock market SpaceX has? We gotta see the percentage. 2.1 trillion. So SpaceX now accounts for approximately 2.1 trillion in the market capitalization, making it the sixth largest company in the United States because the U.S. stock market. So 4%. I knew I wasn't tripping because I was like, yo, is it 10, 2, 1? I'm like, yo, it was something like that. So what happened is that it actually has outperformed it. So as you see, that is it's at 160 right now. It's projected to go 130. That's what they said. That was the first spot price. They said 130 and actually went up to 160. So it went up almost 20% today. And by that going up 20%, a lot of people, whoever put in millions make some money. If you put in 1,000, you ain't really make too much and nothing. And that's why people still gonna rock with cryptocurrency, because it's still gonna rock with cryptocurrency where you can put in 1,000 and change your life. That's why people love new asset classes. So when it comes to cryptocurrency, make sure you get in early because it's still early. Yes, you saw a lot of people become billionaires off of Bitcoin, but you also got to understand that there's these other layer 2s and there's other layer 1s. So when this whole infrastructure is finally built out and the regulation is there, you're going to see a lot of people become millionaires off of $1,000 just because they kept DCA. And for people who don't know what DCA is, DCA means dollar cost average. That means you're putting in little by little and you're buying over time. And that hopefully will make you some type of money. But, shout out to Elon Musk. But he also was saying, like I said earlier, about how this much money will eventually, make money obsolete. Because it's like, what do you do after that? It's like, what do you do after a billion? Now, what do you do after a trillion? Nothing. You're just living. Money doesn't even mean anything at this point. So actually, here's him actually talking about that.
Maybe more likely to be great. And I do think we'll have universal hang. We're basically just issue money to people, and the really just because the output of goods and services will so far exceed the money supply that that effectively you have deflation, because deflation is just the ratio of the outputs of goods and services to the money supply. So if the rate of growth of goods and services far exceeds the rate of growth of the money supply, which I predict will happen, then you will have deflation.
Yes.
Yeah, because right now it seems like because of AI, we got that.
Spinning up new companies, competing against each other, they're driving the price down and increasing the variability and deflation faster and faster.
Yeah, it's basically the AI and robots are going to make so much stuff, provide so many services, that they will actually run out of things to do for the humans.
Yeah, and basically like, oh, now you got $1 trillion, money don't matter.
Well, there's only so much that humans can even express that they want. So you go back to my example of, like, if you go 1 million times greater than the Earth's economy, you've long since saturated all human desire.
Yeah. Okay. What else services can you provide?
Maybe if you go 1,000 times more than our current economy, 1,000 times, you probably have already saturated anything people can think of that they want.
So do you think the value of money is going to significantly decrease?
Of course.
Will we go post-capitalist?
Yeah, I think money will stop being.
And they're like, well, you're a trillionaire.
So just as you're becoming
it's probably something like an Ian Banks, like culture sort of future. And I think the AI down the road will really not use human currency. It will just care about power and mass, wattage and tonnage.
It's kind of ironic then, right? Just as you're becoming a trillionaire, money starts to have less value.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so that's basically what he's saying. He said, yeah, money's going to have less value. He said, damn, you're a trillionaire, so that's why money really don't matter. And we're getting to that point that because of that, the average person is going to end up being a millionaire. That's going to be the new middle class. So it's like, what does money even matter anymore? Especially when you have universal basic income. At this point, it becomes, it'll become sort of a caste system now. Like it'll become, we're better than you because we're pure blooded, because of we didn't have the COVID vaccine back in the great back in the great what's the word we're trying to use, quarantine, back in the great quarantine. So it'll be things of that nature that'll start separating people. And yeah, money, there's gonna be no use for money, but that's why they're also trying to push cryptocurrency also, because that will control the money. That would take the people that's up there that can control the people down there. Especially, hey, you got a universal basic income, so you're gonna be happy with the fact that you can afford everything, because that's what they're doing right now. They're making everything unaffordable. They're keeping everybody basically on the rim of it. So they're basically like, hey man, you guys will barely afford anything, and the pain of barely affording everything. Okay, now that you're going through that much pain, okay, now we'll make it that everything's affordable, but you're not going to be able to live our lifestyle, but you're going to be able to live something that's way better than what you're living right now. And I'm pretty sure that's the plan of the oligarchs right there. We're gonna make you guys just happy enough so you don't come and mess with us while we're eating the healthiest of the food, and we're eating everything that's non-GMO, and we're living a better, cleaner lifestyle than you guys. But you guys are going to actually be okay to the point that you can live the BS lifestyle that you're living. You can go eat the dirty snacks that we provide, the GMO laden food that we provide. You can go eat that while we can eat the clean meat and everything. You know what I'm saying? You gotta eat soy based whatever, and then you'll worry about health more than you're actually worried about actually living, because of how dangerous that food is to us. So yeah, we're still coming up on a dystopian future, but it'll be a future where people won't worry about money, but they're gonna worry about other things. There's always some type of worry, right? And immortality is 9 times out of 10 gonna be one of them. So you're gonna figure out ways of how to get money to live longer. And now that you can afford this utopia of not having to worry about money. You get what I'm saying? Like they'll be like, hey, your lifestyle only costs $5,000 a month to live comfortably where you at, but you can live this $5,000 a month thing until your 60s, probably early 70s, whatever. But you're not gonna be able to live forever like us because we're millionaires and billionaires. So it'll be that type of thing going on. I think that's going to be the new currency. The new currency is going to be health and immortality. So anyone that's listening, I think the new currency is going to be health and immortality in youth. That's what you're going to sell for sure. Because everybody's trying to do it now. Everybody's trying to grow their hair back, get new teeth, reverse aging and all of that. So I think that's what you're going to do. They're going to sell that. That's going to be the new currency. Y'all be easy. Catch you on the next one.